I'm sure when you made the signings this offseason, you thought there was a decent chance of high upside with some of these starting pitchers. But when you look at the overall performance, especially over the last month, has stood out to you about these guys all kind of performing at the top end of what you could expect?
Look, I think guys have just gotten better and stronger throughout the season, and that's a really good sign, both in terms of the work that they've put in to get to this point, and also the quality of the coaching that's going into it, and working with them. And really, this is what sort of should happen. If we're working with guys, we begin to build that trust factor, begin to have the constant back and forth over a 6, 7, 8 month period, and ultimately, hopefully, get to places where players improve and get better and trust our organization, trust our coaches. And I think we've seen that in a couple instances, and we've got guys who have worked really hard who are now performing at a high level.
Big picture, I think there's 24 games left. How do you assess where you guys are at and what needs to happen for you to make the playoffs here? We're
in the thick of it. We've earned the right to be here. We've played well enough to be here. This isn't a fluke. And we've got a month left to play really good baseball to give us a chance to have some fun in October. And that's what you want this time of year. And I'm optimistic and I'm confident in this group that we can continue to play at a high level.
What is it like for you as the president of baseball operations when you reach this point where, by and large, the roster building is done, the chips are on the table, it's just, see what happens?
Yeah, this is where we should be. This should be normal for us. When we get to September, we should be in the thick of a playoff hunt, and our responsibility now is to put our players and our coaches in the best possible position to succeed. And we try to do that throughout the course of the year, and certainly it's accentuated once you get to September and October.
What do you make of Francisco Alvarez's kind of lengthy slump, and are you confident that he can get out of it and he can be kind of the hitter he was last year?
Yeah, I think this is every player goes through this, and young players certainly go through this. And I think given the success that Alvy had in his first season in the big leagues and at periods this year, it's easy to forget how young this player is and how much we have asked of him as an organization beginning last year, what he does behind the dish, the amount of attention and focus that he gives to our pitchers, the investment he puts in game calling, some of the leadership aspects that he provides to our team. All of that is a lot to put on any player, certainly a young player. I think he's handled most of it really well. And there are going to be ups and downs, and right now we're going through a down period. I have a ton of confidence that Alvy's going to snap out of this, help us this year and for years to come.
As somebody who analyzes player value, what does the most valuable player look like?
I think he looks like the guy who runs out the shortstop every day for us at 7 o'clock. It's been an unbelievable season to watch. We're getting to the point, I think, where we're talking about perhaps the greatest individual position player season in the history of this franchise. I've been around some really special seasons. Been around some MVP seasons. This is right up there with anything I've seen on a day-to-day basis.
When voters evaluate MVP, they can look at sort of what that team would be without that impact player. In Lindor's case, do you think about that here, not with the season he's having just on the field, but with his leadership within the clubhouse and everything he brings to where the Mets are today?
Yeah, I think that's part of the entire package that he brings. And it's easy to quantify what he does on the field, and that's really impressive. Much harder to quantify the impact he has, both by what he says and also by how he acts. He works so hard. He takes so much pride in his own preparation, but also ensuring that his teammates prepare appropriately. It's the entire package that I think allows him to contribute so much to the organization.